Come have fun with us and don't forget to subscribe.
What's up everybody, I'm Rick.
And I'm Anna, and welcome to our review of the 1937 movie The Awful Truth. For those of you who are new here, hi, welcome, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, which is dedicated to our bucket list of goals and dreams that we hope to accomplish in our lifetime. And one of those goals for us is to watch every movie that was nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards from 1927 to 2028.
Lots of movies.
Lots of movies. So 1937, a new year.
Indeed.
Indeed, and we have a new and blank ranking list to fill with movies of this year.
I wonder if this time the number one will be number one, or the winner will be number one.
Is it ever?
No.
Is it ever? To this day, we have watched 78 movies as part of this goal. The last one of which is The Awful Truth, the movie that we will be talking about today. Released on October 21st, 1937, this Columbia Pictures screwball comedy film tells the story of a married couple who file an amicable divorce, but find it harder to let go of each other than they initially thought. So we're starting this year off with a comedy movie. What did you think of it?
What did I think of it? You know, this movie, I don't know if it's just me, but it kind of felt like it was two different things.
Oh, how so?
The first half gave me like one vibe, and then the second half something else. Not entirely, because it's still a comedy with the same characters, with the same story, but it just felt different, you know? Like, I'm talking about from the moment, you know, we're introduced to these characters, they, you know, file for divorce, etc., to the moment where she doesn't want a divorce anymore and he has a new girl, when the situation is flipped.
Yeah.
From that point on, I felt like it kind of felt different.
Yeah, it almost felt like the movie was going in one direction and then it went into another direction.
Yeah, it's like this is
not what you wanted to do in the
another
beginning.
story. Yeah.
That's interesting, and there is actually a reason why the movie felt that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was just
very interesting reason.
the writing.
And that is because this movie was heavily improvised as it was being filmed, to the point where they didn't even have a script of the whole movie when they were deep into the filming. So apparently the director, Leo McCarey, would arrive on the set with a bunch of ideas written on like scraps of paper. And that would be the direction of how the scenes of that day would be filmed. And on days when he had nothing written down, he would just come on set and play the piano until he got an idea of what he wanted to film that day. And sometimes that would include not only scenes, but also, like, as I said, entire like dialogue that the actors had to prepare for that day.
Mm-hmm. So the story was not finished when they started filming.
I think the story had a direction.
Mm.
But it was heavily improvised. Heavily improvised. To the point where I wouldn't be surprised if the turn of tables towards the
it's
end
just
was
an
just
idea.
an idea.
Oh, what if?
Exactly.
You know?
It felt that way. And then when I read this information about the movie, it didn't surprise me, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Watching the movie, you know, you're definitely like led to believe that it's going in one direction. You know,
Yeah.
The girl is about to get remarried. There's this whole storyline. With the singer who's also, maybe she was cheating on her husband with it, and all of that stuff is just like thrown away.
Like, doesn't matter anymore.
And then now we focus on the husband. He's about to get married too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what's happening? And I loved the first part. I found it way more enjoyable than the second. Not that the second half was bad, but just I was invested into what was happening at first.
Yeah, especially with the part where the ex-wife was about to be remarried. You know, it feels like that didn't really have a real finality.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought she was gonna go to Oklahoma and be sad or something, you know.
Yeah, I was waiting for that, you know.
Yeah.
I was waiting to watch her write those letters.
But no, nothing. And then they just flipped the situation. I thought it was so weird watching it. And another element that I thought was strange is the whole movie starts, and maybe that's on purpose, and it's, you know, this is what life is like. It starts with this premise of maybe these two have been cheating on each other. And while we were watching the movie, we were like, oh, they never actually, you know, confirm or deny that well, both of them deny, but the story doesn't confirm nor deny that it happened. And so maybe in the end we'll like find out that neither of them have cheated on each other. and they always loved each other. It was just a misunderstanding. But even that finality never
But
comes.
the thing is that even if they wanted to do that, at that point in the movie where the wife is about to be remarried and then the husband is about to be remarried, or at least he has another relationship, it feels like they took it too far for it to just be a misunderstanding, you know? It's hard to come back from that. But in the end they do, and yeah, it feels like...
That question is never answered,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, what was the husband doing not in Florida?
Exactly.
Why did he lie?
Like too many questions that don't get an answer by
What
the
was
end
the
of
whole thing
movie.
with the music teacher? Was it just a music teacher? We're led to believe that she always told the truth, but there's no, like, we only have her word.
Right, exactly. To the end of the movie, we don't have an actual confirmation as the viewers of what was actually the truth, you know.
But all in all, I mean, it was enjoyable. Like I said, more the first half than the second.
Yeah, I thought so too. I had a great time watching it, and in the end, I felt like it worked as a comedy. And the ending, even though it felt like it's kind of leaving some loose ends, it was lighthearted and it was pleasant, let's say.
And it's funny that they get back together the day that the divorce is finalized.
Yeah, you know? That is really good storytelling.
I gotta say, that whole scene where she goes and fake being drunk to her ex-husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband's soon-to-be wife. I didn't like that. From the moment she gets there until the moment they're in the hotel, I like the part in the hotel. It's not the hotel, it's her uncle's place. Like when she's drunk with the cops, when she's drunk at the house. Like I felt like it dragged on.
It feels like she's kind of being vengeful. Like he screwed up her marriage arrangement that she wanted to get out of anyway. But at the same time, she doesn't want to let him go. But mess up with his new relationship. I didn't feel
like she was being vengeful.
Yeah, maybe not vengeful, it's true. But maybe like, you know, he did that. So it felt like she has the right to do it because
even on her part, the reason her marriage didn't go forward wasn't necessarily because of the husband. She herself wrote the letter.
She wanted to break up with him.
And she was like, no, I still love my ex. You know?
Yeah.
And what I felt when she went to the house and fake being drunk and tried to sabotage things, and also when she tried to, you know, have the cops arrest them or find whatever reason for them to stay together, is that she was trying to have them stay together.
Yeah.
But the way he was doing it, because he was doing that at the beginning too, when she had her boyfriend, the way he was doing it was so much more subtle and funny and interesting, while the way she did it, you know, it's kind of,
I see what you
know,
mean. Yeah, I agree with that.
Humor, you know, she's like, I'm drunk, and then...
So we talked earlier about interesting directing techniques of the director of this movie. So let's talk a little bit more about the production of this movie.
Yeah, sure.
First off, the movie is based on a 1923 play of the same name written by Arthur Richmond.
So it has an ending then, if it was a play, if it was a previous...
Well, it is based on, I don't know to what extent it is based on the play.
I wonder if the play is also like that, like disjointed, the two. Though I guess in a play there will be like a first act and a second act, like it would be a clear cut.
Yeah, and that would make more sense for this kind of a story. As I mentioned before, the movie was directed by Leo McCarey, who was also the director of Ruggles of Red Gap.
Another movie with two very distinct, not halves, but parts of it, you know, the part in Europe and the part in the...
Yeah, I suppose it's his style, maybe.
Maybe.
The movie stars Irene Dunne as Lucy Warriner, whom we've seen before in Cimarron. And here's an interesting piece of information about Irene Dunne. So apparently Dunne was in a hurry to take on a new project because of negative reviews that she got after performing in blackface in a previous movie she had done in 1936, Showboat.
That's interesting because, I mean, we just saw Ziegfeld, the Great Ziegfeld, where we do see in the Great Ziegfeld some blackface.
Yeah.
And I didn't find any information about like backlash about that. Of course, nowadays, you know, we understand the negative reception that blackface has, but even back then she would get some flack. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
I didn't find more information about this, and when I actually looked up reviews of the movie Showboat, I didn't find any information on the official page.
That?
So they probably either didn't want to mention it, or maybe it wasn't the movie as a whole that got attacked, but just her performance for whatever reason.
Or maybe not the blackface, but just the performance itself.
Yeah, it is possible. Anyway, in order for her to get over this negative part of her career quickly. Her agent helped develop this movie, The Awful Truth, specifically for her. And the movie was rushed into production in order to accommodate her needs.
When you can't find the movie, make the movie.
Right, exactly.
The Room.
The movie also stars Cary Grant as Jerry Wariner, whom we've seen before in She Done Him Wrong. An interesting thing here about Cary Grant's relationship to this movie is that initially he wanted to leave the production because of the director's unorthodox take on directing the movie. However, in the end he stayed, and it was this movie that turned Cary Grant into an A-list actor of Hollywood at the time.
Good for him. I really like him in this movie. I think if you had to pick one highlight, it's definitely him.
Yeah.
His performance throughout the movie is always enjoyable. Like we were talking about how much more witty his sabotage attempts were at the beginning of the movie, the first half of the movie. A lot of that has to do with the way he's acting also, nonchalantly trying to, praise and take down his ex-wife at the same time around other people. It's always funny.
I really like his kind of carefree approach to the character, like understanding of the character. I feel like it really matches with a comedy, and with this character in particular. The movie also stars Ralph Bellamy as Dan Leeson and Alexander Darcy as Armand Duval, both of whom are, essential characters to the story, but I feel like you don't really see them enough to make that much of a
to me this is mostly a two-man show. This is for both the main actor and the main actress vehicle. I know the movie was made as a vehicle for her, but he shines a lot in it too. And the rest of the time, there is rarely a scene where either of them is not present, and when there is, it doesn't last long. This is a movie for them.
But an interesting thing that I want to talk about here is that the two characters that I mentioned, Leeson and Duval, are both men related to the main female character in the story. The husband also has two love interests throughout the movie, but you don't feel like they're pushed as much. And I feel like it has something to do with what you mentioned before, which is that the first half of the story feels like it's where the movie wanted to go. And you see the wife's relationships with these men being developed in that first half of the story. And that's why also these characters kind of pop up more.
To add to the fact that it kind of feels tackled, that second half. When we do switch gears and now it's the husband who has a new girlfriend he's going to marry, they just give us a montage of their relationship developing,
Newspaper.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, believe it, they've been together, now they're about to get married, Yeah. On the other side, we saw the relationship from the moment she met
her new soon-to-be husband.
Soon-to-be
ex. So if this movie didn't feel improvised enough up until now, let's see some more information about the production of this movie. Apparently, it was shot in only 6 weeks, which was at the time a record for a film of this genre. I think it still is today, 6 weeks to shoot a movie.
Movies take much longer than they did it back then anyway, in general.
Yes.
To film.
And it was finished ahead of schedule and under budget.
Hey, good for them.
So, yeah, good for them. However, it was a box office success and it was nominated for 6 Academy Awards.
Look at you.
Right? First of all, it was nominated for Outstanding Production, or Best Picture. Also nominated for Best Director for Leo McCarey, which it also won. An improvised movie with improvised directing.
They probably heard the story.
Best Direction. Oh, yeah.
Like how you made a movie with that? Let's go.
Yeah. It was also nominated for Best Actress for Irene Dunne, Best Supporting Actor for Ralph Bellamy, Best Writing Screenplay for Vinya Del Mar, and Best Film Editing for Al Clark.
Reward that montage.
Oh yeah, it couldn't have been easy. It couldn't have been easy, right? So before we move on to the ranking, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about?
No, I feel like I've hit pretty much all of the details
So, would you recommend this movie?
Would I recommend this movie? That's a difficult one. It's not a bad movie, but a recommendation, it has to be something where you're like, go see this movie. And
Yeah, it's worth it.
I doubt I would ever tell anyone to just go see this movie,
Yeah, I feel like even for, comedies of the time, if you look at the genre, obviously there are better movies that we've already seen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the story stands out in particular.
Yeah, it's pretty cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And then, the actors are good, but yeah, no. I think you can find better.
Yeah, I think so too.
If you have the movie and you were planning on watching it, I'm not stopping you.
Right.
Go ahead, do it. You'll have a good time. If you're looking for a movie to watch, I wouldn't recommend it.
So, without further ado, let us move on to the ranking section.
It's gonna be hard.
The first movie of the year is always difficult.
Yeah, the hardest.
For every year, we rank the movies that were nominated at Best Picture for that year. And since 1937 is a new year, we have just watched this one movie as of now. And so for now, it stands at number 1.
You know what? I'm not sure I agree. You
don't? Okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
I would put it at number 1 instead.
Okay, number 1. What do you think? Do you agree?
But yeah, it's the only movie on the list, so I guess there's not much debating.
How long do you think it's gonna be up there?
The next movie, it's probably going to bump it. I don't know. I haven't seen the next movie, so
we could be disappointed, but exactly. I hope we won't be. I have to say, you know what? Last year was a great year. Most of the movies were really good, and quite a few of them were outstanding, in my opinion. And so I have high expectations of this year.
Oh, do you?
Oh yes,
it's a reset for me. New year, new me. I'm not looking at the past. Dodsworth is gone.
No.
Mr. Deeds is gone. And Anthony Edwards is gone.
Oh yeah, but that's not... But San Francisco is gone.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now we're moving on to the Chicagos this year.
So that was it for our review of the 1937 movie The Awful Truth. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked our video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Don't forget that this is a bucket list channel where we try to accomplish the goals and dreams that are on our bucket list, and they're all so different. We do things like watching anime and doing outdoor activities and traveling. It's not just about movies. So yeah, if you're interested in that, don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget, if you yourself have a goal or a dream that you hope to accomplish, take that first step.
Bye.